Good morning, it's Stacy Sims. I'm the founder of TheWell and Mindful Music Moments. And I wanted to share a meditation with you today. I tried to figure out how to do it live and that didn't work, so I'm going to record it this way. So I love anatomy. I got to actually attend a medical dissection anatomy class this year at UC, and I got to see live and in person the thoracic cavity. So I got to see how the ribs lay in the body. I got to see where the diaphragm, how high the diaphragm lives in the body. I got to see the heart, and I got to see the lungs. And so today we're gonna talk about the lungs a little. So I have this cool, fantastic anatomy book that I love. And here is an image of the lungs. So they're, if you just kind of imagine them sort of lying in the body like this, you probably know that the right lung takes up a little more space than the left lung because the heart nestles into the area of the left lung. And they have these, do you see the tree-like structure in there? The bronchial framework. So that's how all the oxygen, the air, infuses into the lungs. And then there's this awesome process of essentially cellular respiration and creating cellular energy throughout the whole body that is in large part the toxic waste of all the cells is expressed through the exhale. And if you look online about breathing and weight loss, there's a correlation between the amount of inhale you take in, the amount of exhale you take out, or you express, that has to do with how much toxicity, cellular toxicity, that you are expressing. And so there is a correlation between, or I would say a function. The lungs help in weight loss. They're one of probably the primary weight loss organ, because all of that toxicity is being exhaled. Pretty cool stuff, all around cool. So the lungs have this sort of wonderfully like squishy, hopefully sort of texture, and they're so important to really everything we do. So what I wanted to do is just take a second to orient you to the anatomy, and then we're going to go into a meditation that is I would say a bit of embodying awareness. So I also have dogs here who are going to be chatty. Every time I start to chat, they think I'm chatting with them, so I might have to let them out. So oftentimes we breathe, we have really short breath. We just don't often take time to think about our breath in our body. And sometimes we're kind of only feeling movement in the chest or maybe in the upper belly. But the way you know that your lungs are really getting a nice full expression is that you should be able to, when you inhale and exhale, you could experiment with, can you feel your entire rib cage widen, including feeling into the back body? So can you see my rib cage is expanding and contracting a little bit? So that's something we're going to work on a little. The other thing to understand is that for every breath, there's a movement of this dome-like super cool diaphragm. So when we inhale, the dome of the diaphragm flattens out, and you're likely going to see the belly rise. And when we exhale, the lungs come in, the diaphragm dome comes back up, and the belly can pull a little back in. So we want to be able to embody and feel, hold please, So we want to be able to embody and feel essentially not necessarily the lungs themselves, but our body is always responding to the lung movement. And when we focus in on that, we can help fuel it, thus fuel the constant fueling and detoxing of every cell in the body. Pretty amazing, right? So let's move into the meditation part. I am in a seated cross-legged position, but you can do this really anywhere. You can be seated with your feet on the floor, sitting up nice and tall. You could be up against a wall. You could be up against a chair. But you want to try to get your spine in some way that's not like this. Because what happens when I'm like this is essentially I'm creating a lack of space for the diaphragm and the belly. So this really helps open everything up. So I always like to just take a second to remind my body that I want to go inside. So I'm moving my feet, wiggling my shoulders, preparing to be seated and grounded. I'm going to put my hands, I like to put them up. It helps open up the chest. And I'm going to close my eyes for a lot of the time. It helps me really internally focus. You don't have to do that. You could watch me, or you could just set your gaze on something not moving. And just take a second to settle in. Oftentimes, we transition so quickly from one thing to the next that we barely have time to process that we've arrived and we're trying to change gears in some way. So create a little pause. Orienting to the sounds around you. Checking in with how you feel in your body. Just so you guys know, the door is open. You're messing with my mindfulness video. All right, hold on, please. I'm back again, settled in. I am feeling the reaction, the body reaction to just popping up for a second. I can feel my breath moving a little faster, my heart pounding a little faster. So I'm going to just take a second till that begins to slow. And let's begin to notice our breath. If you're able, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. If not, we might get to that at some point, or you might be able to move more toward the nose. But if you need to use the mouth, that's fine too. Notice where you feel the air coming in and out of the nose. See if you can keep attention to the air coming in and out of the nose, and perhaps the sound of my dogs chewing on their bones. Now begin to bring your mind's eye to locate in your own body, as best as you can, where you sense, feel, imagine, know that your lungs reside in your body. And since we generally tend to think of ourselves and look at ourselves in that front body view, what we would see if we looked in the mirror, remember that you're a three-dimensional form. Some people would suggest many more dimensions, but we'll start with 3 for now. So as you breathe in and out, sense, feel, imagine, know the sides of your body, especially through the rib cage, the back of your body, and begin to have a relationship with your sense of your lungs and your body. Imagining the healthiest, moist pink tissue. Beginning to imagine those bronchial trees. Where every inhale fills all the way down into the teeny, teeny, teeny little branches at the base and at the edges of the lungs. And the magical exchange of both energy and the release of carbon dioxide, any kind of toxins. So study the movement of the breath and the filling, the feeling of the filling of the lungs. You can keep your attention there. And you can also, if you like, start to track the movement of the diaphragm. So it's a muscle that is a dome, and the dome rides pretty high. Like if you put your finger at the base of the ribs, and then you rose up, I'm gonna say 2 to 3 inches. That's the top of the dome. And when you inhale and the lungs expand out, the dome drops, which is going to push the belly out of it. And then as you exhale, the dome lifts, the belly pulls in. So see if you can imagine, feel, sense, intuit this steady wave-like motion of both the diaphragm and the lungs. Riding the breath for the extraordinary process of rejuvenation, healing, and sacred life itself. So I always notice that when I really concentrate, I often have a bit of a excited response from other muscles, like my hips and my legs, and even like my mind. I can feel myself really focusing and creating tension that's not really necessary. So see if you can do your own quick check and see if there's anything in the body you can ease up and keep a soft, gentle focus on the movement of your breath, the filling of the lungs, the movement of the diaphragm and the belly. There are so many ways to meditate. But if you're looking for a way to start, finding at least 5 minutes a day, more would be better, but at least 5 minutes a day to study, revere, honor your breath, your lungs, your diaphragm, your puppies, whatever those distractions might be in your world. And in this moment, assume that your focus has created a sense of vibrancy and aliveness and your own connectedness to your lungs, to your breath. So, a sign, or it may already be evident or assigned for you, but visualize your lungs as a bright, vibrant color. Does that vibrancy have a color feature for you? Perhaps that's a white gold or a green. There's no right or wrong. This is your additional anchor to have a relationship with your internal well-being. Whatever that color is, see it glow and grow and infuse every cell of your body. Sometimes it takes me a while to really move it. Sometimes it happens really fast. And then imagine that that light, that internal vital light, is infusing the room, the neighborhood, the world. Sending extra light to the war-torn or scorched places, both emotional and physical, on our planet or within yourself. Rub your palms together. Cover your eyes. And massage your way back into the room. So thanks for joining. I'm going to do more anatomy-based meditations over the next, few weeks. And if you like them, let me know. Or if you have a special request, also let me know. And I can see if I can share with you who are our interrupters. Come here, interrupters. Come here. Oi. Hang on. Can you see them? There's one. Come here. There's two. Oops. All right. Sorry, guys. See ya.